Today I'm going to walk you through my brew day on this Milk Stout I purchased from More Beer. Absolutely incredible results with the last Milk Stout I did, so I wanted to try this one. I absolutely love a good Milk Stout. If you haven't tried one, I really suggest that you try one. If they're done correctly, they're just very creamy, very sweet.
So I purchased this recipe kit from More Beer, and here you can see the basic ingredients. And here we're going to take a look at the numbers we're aiming for. More Beer has a wonderful recipe instruction sheet that helps you figure out your gallons of water and other things. This is going to be the first time I've actually adjusted my water, and with the help of Brewer Friend's website, it makes this incredibly simple. You can see the targeted minerals along with where you're going to end up with adjustments. If you've never used a scale like this, you basically put your container on and you push the tare or net button and that'll zero the scale out. Then you add an ingredient and do the same thing all over. That way you can get the exact weight of each ingredient without having to repeat everything. Here's my setup for the brew, and I've already transferred my strike water over to the mash tun, and now I'm heating up my sparge water. I'm going to add the elements to adjust the water chemistry. Since I was aiming for 158 degrees for the strike water, I had to go ahead and take it up to close to 188, and that way when I transfer and put the grains in, I lose about 30 degrees or so. I'm going to go ahead and put all the grain in nice and slow. Then I'll stir to make sure we don't have any dough balls. Now that we have it all stirred up, I'm going to go ahead and take a temperature and see if I need to adjust the temperature at all. And you can see we're right on the money at 159. I'm going to keep it towards the higher end. That way I have a little bit of a sweet, more malty brew. And I've been recirculating the mash. As you can see, I have the hose going from the bottom of the mash tun into the pump, and then from the outlet of the pump to the top of the mash tun. It's time to go ahead and switch this around so I can transfer this over to the boil kettle. Now, I've heard horror stories where folks have stuck mashes where they, tried to drain the mash tun a little too quick. So I'm very careful to make sure that my flow is nice and slow.
Have you hit the subscribe button yet? Go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you can stay up to date with videos just like this and many, many more right here on Delmarva Backyard.
And now that we have all the first runnings into the boil kettle, I'm going to go ahead and switch my hoses up again so that my hot water tank is going to the inlet of the pump and the outlet hose is going to go into the mash tun. And that way we can start our sparge. And now that the mash tun is filling up with our sparge water, we'll go ahead and give everything a stir, break up those grains and loosen those sugars up for a great extraction. Then we'll go ahead and recirculate. So the outlet hose will go to the top of the mash tun and we'll draw water into the pump through the bottom of the mash tun.
If you're enjoying the video, I'd appreciate it if you do me a favor, hit that like button down below and share the video with your family and friends. Thank you.
I brought the sparge water into the mash tun at about 170 degrees, and then I'll let it recirculate for about an hour. Now I'm going to switch the hoses up so I can slowly pump what's in the mash tun over to the boil kettle, and then I'll go ahead and start the boil. You can see I collected just under 6 gallons, and man, does it look beautiful. I always try to ease into the oil as gently as possible so I don't have a boil over. I've had one and they're not fun. I also have these new containers for my hops, and I'll put the hops inside of them and I can kind of ease those into the boil, pick them back up if it's rising too much. Very, very nice. You can see how nice those hop containers are. They allow me to introduce the hops nice and gently, and that helps prevent any boilovers or messes. Now I'm going to go ahead and introduce my lactose, and that's with the last 10 minutes of the boil. And with about 5 minutes left in the boil, I put my wort chiller in the boil kettle to sterilize it. And at flame out, I'm going to go ahead and get a whirlpool going, and we'll start cooling this wort down to about 70 degrees. And this is my pre-boil gravity. It's about 105.2, which is a little bit lower than what it actually comes out to after I let it cool down. It leveled out at about 106.0. Well, the boil's over, and we've got the wort down to about 72 degrees. I'm going to go ahead and transfer it into the fermenter. You can see the new tool I got from SS Brewtech, an amazing 7.5 gallon fermenter. And so far, I've never used it, but so far putting it together and looking at it, incredibly high quality. And I've got my yeast pitched. I use WLP004 Irish Ale liquid yeast. Now I'm going to put the fermenter in my fermentation fridge, and it's controlled by an Inkbird controller. My final gravity was 1.062. So it came out pretty close to the right numbers. So guys, remember that I'm a rookie brewer, and I'm sure that I've made mistakes in this brew. And if you see any or you have any suggestions, please leave those in the comments below. They're not only going to help me, but they're going to help everyone that's watching. And I'm sure there's going to be many other rookie brewers that are watching this video. So thank you for your help, and I'll see you guys next time.